Hello, Taurus, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of August 10th through the 16th. And during that time, we'll have a waning gibbous moon. We'll be coming off that energy of the full moon and move into that waning gibbous, which is self-reflection, rebirth, good time to get rid of bad habits and negative thinking and just really work towards achieving your goals. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter this week, Taurus. So, of course, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this particular reading: nothing will come of the situation. All right, let's see what the Taurus Collective has going on for the week. As I'm trying to shuffle there, if my hands want to cooperate, as I'm shuffling the tarot cards, I would like to say that my weekly reminder is that you notice the world around you when it comes to synchronicities. And this could be animals that you encounter, maybe repeating numbers or number patterns, songs that you overhear, or conversations that maybe you're not even a part of, that you just hear a snippet. Sometimes there are just words that pop out that way. But watch for those synchronicities as the universe speaks to you. There's always clues and breadcrumbs for you to follow, and they're there to show you clarity on your unique path. So that is just my weekly reminder for the week. All right, Taurus, August 10th through 16th. Nothing will come of this situation. Let's see what kind of situation you guys have going on for the week. All right, we're going to start off here with the Five of Wands. So looks like some sort of debate, some sort of, sometimes this can be an argument. It's definitely a card of, it's usually challenge, a conflict of some sort, but it could just be friendly competition and debate. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fight. If you notice, if you look at this card very closely, nobody's wearing the same shoes, the same leg wear, the same outfit. It's just everyone has their own different opinion, their own different way of being. Sometimes it's a good thing to just learn from others, just to listen, when you're having a debate. I like to say I don't know everything. It's fun to debate sometimes because I learn something. If you can change my mind about something and challenge me, I find I love that kind of challenge. So, but it looks like that's kind of where you're at this week. There's some sort of debate, or again, it could be an argument. We'll see what happens when these cards come out. Your current situation is the Seven of Wands here. So I'm sorry, Seven of Swords. So, this can be a card of theft, hidden agenda. So, there could be some agenda that someone has here that maybe you are debating and wondering about, and if this is you in this card, do you have some sort of hidden agenda? And sometimes we have to just check ourselves and think about that, when dealing with other people. Again, some things can be a learning situation. We don't know everything. And if you're having a debate with someone, do you have some hidden agenda to be right? Maybe, I wouldn't put that past a Taurus for sure. There's some, and there's other signs as well that enjoy being right. I won't say which ones at the moment, but they're out there. You guys know who you are. But, are you having a debate? And are you being right for the reason of just being right, or are you there to learn? So keep that in mind. Keep that hidden agenda, and check yourself all the time for your own hidden agenda. That's really good. Just advice for in general. We all need to just check ourselves every once in a while. What is at the root of this situation is the Sun. Okay, so this is one of the happiest cards in the deck. This is about nurturing and just being in the light. The warmth of fulfillment and dreams and wishes coming true. So the root of this situation doesn't look to be um anything unhappy or anything. And that's why, again, it could be a friendly kind of debate. It could be a fun debate that you're having with your friend about what TV show is the best on a particular platform right now. You're debating and learning who's watching what and that sort of thing. So it could be just a very simple argument or debate about that, not even an argument. What is just behind you is a little bit of dissatisfaction here with the Four of Cups. So something that the universe is offering you that you're like, not super excited about that. And that's kind of the attitude that you're bringing into this. So maybe it is something that you're not super happy or satisfied with. And that's maybe what brings on the conversation, you know. So think about that. What is on your mind is the moon. So we've got the sun, which is our full light, and the moon, which is definitely our card of darkness. And this is, what happens in the dark. It's a card of mystery. And I was talking about synchronicities. This is when those things come about, those things that are just under the surface that you have to look a little bit harder. Maybe you don't have enough light to see them, but they're there. And that's kind of how I see synchronicities. So, but that's about, the moon is about your intuition. It could be about your dreams while you're sleeping at night, what things are coming to you. So there's something on your mind. It looks like that is kind of intuitive and definitely, it could be synchronistic, some kind of message or something that you're getting, that you're kind of looking for the clarity, right? You're looking for the clarity through the night on what that could be. And again, this could be why this debate is happening, all these different reasons that you're just thinking, and I don't see that it's because we've got the sun, a little bit of dissatisfaction, the sun, we've got day night, it's like there's a lot going on is what I feel like. And maybe that's why the debate is coming up. What is just ahead of you this week is a little bit of self-indulgence. So maybe, this is again the kind of check yourself when it comes to, what are your underlying motives or your own hidden agenda. And are you feeling a little self-satisfied because that was fed a little bit, your own hidden agenda. If you win an argument just to win, does that make you feel a little self-indulgent? Or it could be that you learned something and you felt indulgent because of that. But this is kind of if that's that feeling of just satisfaction, job well done, but kind of, a little patting yourself on the back a little bit. So but that's in your future. And that could just be that you're feeling that you come out of that with, right? In your advice position is the magician. Okay, so the magician is about awareness. This is about, what do you want to manifest from this? What did you learn? What did you learn from the day, the night, this debate? Is there something that you learned, and what element now will you choose to move forward and manifest? I love when this card is in the advice position, because what it means is that you've learned something, and that as you move forward now, you are going to change something about yourself to move forward, right? We are all in this learning process of each little thing that we learn, and then we encounter the magician again. So now we're going to manifest something different in our life. And then whatever area this might be for you, this area of debate, are you going to choose your intellect? Maybe this debate causes you to pick up a book and read about something, or learn a new topic. Maybe it opens your heart a little bit and causes you to be kinder, or be nicer to yourself or others around you. Maybe there's something in this debate that causes you to change how you think about material things or money. And also wands, maybe about your passion. So this is the magician saying, what did you learn from this situation? And even your overall card says nothing will come of the situation, but we're all always learning. So hopefully you can make something come of it with the magician card, and take something from it again to move forward in a positive way, if that makes sense. What is beyond your control this week is that things are happening rapidly here with the Eight of Wands. So, whatever this is, I don't see that it's something that's going to stay. It's almost like, um, like I said before, maybe you're together with friends one night and you're just having this debate over your favorite TV show, maybe your favorite comedian, who's the funniest comedian. Everybody has their own opinion on that. And maybe through that conversation, someone else agrees with you, you feel a little bit satisfied, and you're going to move forward and now investigate another comedian that someone else brought up that they thought were, and you trust that person's opinion. You're like, I'm going to check that comedian out, right? So that kind of thing. And that's what I mean by just small changes, nothing huge, major, with any of this going on. I feel like this is almost like a little blip again. That's something that maybe happens, like a conversation at work or a conversation with your friends. It's just something that happens over the course of a little bit of time, but it kind of changes your mind a little bit on something. What is your secret desire? What you're trying to avoid? Well, I hope that's your secret desire, because the Nine of Pentacles is really, just enjoying the fruits of your labor. This is about, just everything's great, and you're feeling good about it. So I like that. Are you trying to? That's your big question this week. Are you Is that your secret desire is to enjoy the fruits of your labor? Or are you trying to avoid that this week? So keep that in mind. That's a big question for you. In your outcome position is the world card, which I love. This is you kind of coming to the end of something. And again, with the magician, maybe your mind has been changed on something. It doesn't seem like it's major. Again, it's maybe something just a little bit minor, and that's okay. We've all got these different little things, all these different little threads running through our life, right? So some things are major, some things aren't. Not every week is something major going on, which is awesome. It would be exhausting if it was like that. So, have the fun debate at work, have the fun debate with your friends, wherever this comes about. It might just be with your partner, but learn something, have the, don't be so stubborn, Taurus, that you're not able to just sit back and listen and learn something new, because you might be able to do that. What is hidden from you this week is our Nine of Wands, or Nine of Wands. I don't know why I'm going back and forth between wands and swords here, but Nine of Wands, which is kind of our wounded warrior. This is looking back over the past, and you're not really doing that. That's not something. You're kind of in the moment this week, which is good. As these things are happening, you're just kind of there, present. Things are going on. It's not something that's in your past or running through or making you think about the past, which is fine. All right, let's get a final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word for Taurus as they move through this week, and wrap this up with a world card there. Kind of a good little ending for whatever they have going on. Address your addictions. Okay, so, and again, if you have an addiction to being right, and I can relate to that. I can have that addiction as well. Everybody likes to be right. There are certain signs that I find that really it's more of a challenge for us than others. Um, and we do have to look at that. And are you addicted to being right, or would you rather learn? That might be your big thing to ask yourself this week. All right. Self-care for Taurus. What does Taurus need to do in the way of self-care this week? Breathe. So here's our little meditating girl there. The calmer you are, the more time slows down and the easier it is to get everything done. So yeah, take a breath, remain calm, breathe, address your addictions. Again, nothing's going to come of this situation. I just see it as a little bit of maybe even just a fun blip where you get to learn something, and maybe change your course a little bit with this magician card. It's something that happens very quickly. Again, it looks like with a group. So it's either, a group of friends, a group of coworkers, maybe your family, where it's fun, friendly debate where you're debating something that's not even that serious, but because you get to the world, you get to some perfect balance at the very end of it, which is, this is our card that's at the very end of the fool's journey. So whatever this journey is for you, it kind of wraps up this week. It's nothing real major. So Taurus, thank you so much for being with me here today. I do appreciate your time. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a message down below. Let me know, was there some sort of debate or something that you had this week, and what was it about? You might want to share with the other Taurus people to see what was on the mind of the Taurus collective this week, or kind of compare notes with each other and see if it was maybe the same sort of debates or things going on. I would be very interested to know that. So I do post weekly readings. So come back next week and we'll see if this energy continues or if there's something completely new. I would gather something completely new, since it looks like whatever this is wraps up. Anyway, if you like my reading style, of course, please like and subscribe and even leave a comment. It really just helps me with the algorithm, and it'll help you find me next week. So thanks so much, Taurus. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.